I drove down the dark, narrow road, passing by countless trees barely illuminated by my car's headlights. I glanced over at my friend Simon, who had his eyes fixed upon the bright screen of his phone. Noticing my stare, Simon began speaking.
There should be a gas station not too far away.
He informed.
Maybe they have some medicine.
You think they have medicine to stop foot pain? I asked in a doubtful yet hopeful tone.
I don't know, maybe.
My foot, specifically my Achilles tendon, had began aching since a few hours ago, cutting our annual camping trip short. A short few minutes later, I saw the unmistakable illuminated sign of a gas station. I gently parked in the parking lot, careful not to put too much pressure on my foot. Simon jumped out of the car and quickly walked into the gas station. With nothing better to do, I began to reset my eyes for a moment, as I hadn't gotten much sleep in the last few hours of constant driving. A short moment passed when I was awoken to Simon returning into the car and slamming the door behind him. Even through my tired eyes, I could see that Simon was distressed.
Alright, don't get mad, but I think I left my wallet at the campsite.
I threw my head back and let out a long sigh. Are you serious, Simon?
Look, I'm sorry. I could have sworn I picked it up before we left.
I looked at the packed up camping equipment behind us. You sure you didn't just leave it in, the cooler or something?
I mean, I guess I could check, just in case.
Simon leapt out of the car once again to forage through our equipment. I found myself quietly praying that he would find his wallet amongst all of the other equipment so that I wouldn't have to turn around and drive back to our site.
Yeah, I can't find it.
Simon said as he hopped back into the front passenger seat. I placed my head in my hands as I imagined what driving another 2 hours with a sore foot and a tired mind would feel like. I looked back up at Simon, who looked just as upset as I was. All right, we'll go back, but we're going to sleep in the car for the rest of the night. I don't want to drive for any longer than I need to. Simon nodded, signaling that he agreed with me. And so I turned around and started heading down the road we had just come from. I felt my eyelids getting heavier and heavier as we once again passed through the familiar trees. Simon, on the other hand, felt as energetic as he had been in the morning. If Simon was as good at driving as he was at staying awake, I'd be passed out in his seat as he drove in mine. Sadly, though, Simon would have likely crashed into a tree by now, so I was stuck as the driver. After what felt like an eternity of endless road, we finally reached the trail that we had taken earlier to our campsite. I parked right next to the trail, happy that the long drive had finally ended. Simon unbuckled his seatbelt and began to open the door to get out, but stopped when he noticed that I was still strapped.
Oh, you aren't coming with me?
I pointed towards the clock on my car. Dude, it's 12:22 and I've been driving for 4 hours. I'm tired and my foot hurts. Why would I come with you?
Well, you know how I am with being alone in dark forests.
Look, Simon, there's nothing in that forest that can do harm to you. It's not like a badger is going to pull a knife on you.
All right, then. I guess you're right.
I am right, I replied in a slightly annoyed voice. And plus, in the unlikely scenario that you do find yourself in danger, you could just call me or 911. After this, Simon began to calm down a bit and was ready to venture out into the darkness of the forest. Through tired eyes, I watched as Simon made his way down the trail and soon disappear from my view. After ensuring that he didn't chicken out, I let my eyelids close shut and swiftly fall asleep. My slumber was interrupted by the sound of thunder, followed by a lightning strike. I shot up in my seat, startled by the abrupt disturbance. After I calmed down from my initial fright, I looked to my right, only to see an empty seat beside me. I then turned my gaze to my clock. 3:37 p.m. My eyes widened as I read those digital numbers. From inside my car, I looked around the dark surroundings that was now being filled with drops of rain plummeting from the clouds above. There was no sign of Simon whatsoever. I took my phone out and began calling him. The phone rang for a good few moments before forwarding me to voicemail. I attempted to call him again and again until the call was finally answered. Dude, where are you? I yelled in a concerned and confused voice. It's been over 3 hours. Simon? I replied to the eerie silence. You there?
Hello?
A confused, groggy voice replied. Simon?
Yeah, it's me.
Are you good? You sound a bit tired.
Oh, yeah. It's just getting pretty late.
I was taken aback a little by Simon's uncharacteristic exhaustion. This was the same man who stays up to 5 in the morning on weekdays, and here he is yawning and complaining about being tired? Well, I started. Did you find your wallet at least?
Yeah, I think I got lost though. I can't find you.
Oh, I quietly replied. Well, do you see any familiar landmarks at least?
No, not really. Could you just tell me where you are?
Normally, I'd take out a map and try to help a friend who was lost. But something about Simon felt off. I don't know if it was how he had gotten lost in a forest that the both of us were very familiar with, or if it was his unrecognizable voice and attitude, but I was starting to question if this was truly my longtime friend or not. I scoured my mind for something I could ask to confirm whether or not this was truly someone I knew. My stare fell upon the cooler behind me that I could see through the rearview mirror.
Hello?
The weary voice on the other end asked, taking me out of my deep thought. Oh, yeah, sure thing, dude, I stuttered. Say, did you happen to see the cooler out there too?
Cooler? Oh, yeah, I got the cooler with me.
I felt a chill run up my spine as I realized what was happening. With shaky hands, I hung up the phone and grabbed the steering wheel. With no clear destination, I drove as fast as I could away from that trail and away from whomever I was talking to. Many thoughts and questions raced through my mind as I began receiving notifications on my phone, presumably from Simon. Periodically, my phone would also buzz, indicating that someone was attempting to call me. I ignored these calls and notifications as I sped down the road, eventually finding myself many miles from where I last was. I stopped on the side of the road after realizing that I was heavily low on gas and wouldn't be able to drive much further. Still panicking, I whipped out my phone to call the police and inform them of what had just happened. But before doing so, I decided to check my messages. Opening it up, I saw what it seemed like hundreds of messages all saying the same thing over and over again.
Pick up the phone. Pick up the phone. Pick up the phone.
After seeing these text messages, I called the police who, even though they did as best as they could, couldn't find whoever I was talking to. They did, however, find Simon, brutally stabbed to death just 2 miles from where I was parked. Even to this day, I still have nightmares wondering what would have happened if I had given whoever I was speaking with my location.